Hey guys, this is an update on my last video. I did get some good advice on an easier way to secure your chainsaw so you can sharpen the chain. So using a vise, if you've got one in your basement or garage, you're going to grab onto your chainsaw by the bar, and you can see you want to make sure that your vise isn't hitting that chain at all, because obviously you want to rotate it. Once you've got it nice and snug, then loosen those clamps on the sides, and we're just going to rotate that vise so that we've got a good angle. I'm right-handed, so the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of set it up so I can lean over it and sharpen the chain and just hit the angles I want. So once I've got the angle where I want it, I'm just going to tighten that vise down. So now my chainsaw is nice and secure. So using a sharpening kit, we're going to get all the tools we need. Now, I'll put a link in the description of all the things I'm using to sharpen my chainsaw, so you can look those up. But I did stick a chalk marker in there so I can mark one of the links so I know when I get all the way around. If you're really good at judging angles, you might not need this, but I like to use this little guide which shows me my different angles. I'm sharpening my saw with a 30-degree angle because I'm using just cutting general. I'm cutting hardwoods, but also softwoods around the house. So a 30-degree is what I like to use. So I've got my 3/16 round file mounted in it. So now I can use this guide, make sure I'm hitting a 30-degree angle, and go ahead and sharpen that chain. So, all right, so now if we move back over to the saw, first thing I'm going to do is mark one of the links with a little chalk mark. That way when I'm sharpening the chain, as soon as I get back to that white mark, I know I've completed the full length of the chain. So all I'm going to do is line up that 30-degree angle with one of the teeth, and then I'm going to do 2 smooth but firm strokes. I sharpen my chain every gas tank. So every time I burn through a tank of gas, I sharpen my chain. So I typically only need 2 smooth strokes on each tooth, or each chain link, if you will, in order to clean up that blade and get that chain nice and sharp. So now I'm just going link by link, doing 2 smooth strokes to get that chain nice and sharp. Once I get all the way around, tightening or sharpening those links with my right hand, now the links that are facing the other way, I need to sharpen. So in order to do that, I am going to use my left hand. So I'm going to loosen my vise just so I can rotate and get a better angle, because now I'm going to be using my left hand to sharpen the opposing links. So once I've got it in a good position, I'm just going to tighten that vise down. And again, I'm not as smooth with my left hand because I am right-handed. But again, that's where that guide comes in. I line up that 30 degrees, hold that round file nice at a 90-degree angle to the bar itself, 2 smooth strokes, and then rotate to the next tooth. And that is really all you need to get a nice sharp chain. Once you've got all your teeth sharp, you can wrap up the job, or I like to just check the chain. Mine is actually a little looser than I like, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten it while it's in the vise, which is a very convenient way to tighten your saw. So in my sharpening kit, I've got my wrench for loosening the bar itself. So once I loosen it, then I'll just flip it around and use that flathead screwdriver on my Husqvarna 445. So I want my chain to slide freely on that bar, but I really don't want too much of the chain coming up out of that groove. So as long as it slides nicely, but is as tight as I can, that's where I want it. I don't want that chain falling off. So now I'm going to crank down that bar nut so that it's nice and tight. And at that point, I can unscrew the vise, carefully remove the saw, and we're all done. Thanks for watching. Check out the description for more information and hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos.